since we had these atrocities, terrorism, etc., the government decided to promote interfaith groups. The government pumping a lot of money to try and somehow resolve the issue of homegrown terrorism. This is the foundation of interfaith groups. It's nothing to do with being really truly friendly and truly trying to understand each other's religion. The idea was to simply calm down the kind of more violent lobby in the United Kingdom, so we don't have homegrown terrorism. This was the foundation of interfaith work in the United Kingdom. The government promoted it, the local councils promoted it. This was kind of in a way. But when I used to belong to 4 interfaith groups, and I was a main contributor to the London Interfaith Centre for many, many years. Let me tell you my experience. You see, these are purely tokenistic groups, as I said, meant to try and calm down the violent elements so that we don't have homegrown terrorism. Simple as that. And the governments, I suspect, pumped a few million pounds into this. And of course, there are certain lobbies that are very keen to take on the money and say, of course, we are going to make sure that we don't have terrorism in our group. But then you see, this was, kind of money vested, because the people who are going to be terrorists are not going to belong to this group at all. They don't belong to interfaith group at all. So they're completely vested money. So the whole thing was a complete, showmanship. There's nothing. You just get together, have cakes and tea, and pat each other on the back. Say, I like you. In your heart, you're saying this guy is wrong, but let me just play ball with him and make him feel comfortable. Give him a piece of cake and tea and stuff. This is the only thing they were doing: tea and cakes, nothing else. They kind of do certain events together, and I participated in many and gave lectures at many. But when I look at the reaction, in fact, the final outcome, it was very poor. None of these interfaith groups were prepared to kind of, in a way, try and embrace the idea that is central in Hinduism: pluralism, many pathways to be spiritual. If the interfaith groups would have listened, would have embraced this idea, then terrorism would stop automatically. You don't have to kill each other because this is his way, this is my way. Full stop. There's no need to convert, kill, or to try and score points. But this was not allowed to happen, I'm telling you bluntly, because the establishment in this country is highly, strongly Christian-oriented, highly exclusivist in its agenda. I'll give you an example. You see, the biggest interfaith group was Interfaith Network in the United Kingdom. And the way they kind of choose the participants is very interesting, because this is done by politicians. It's purely a political ploy. So the politician was asked to kind of decide how to set up this interfaith network and give a lot of money, paid a lot of huge salary, was somebody who would then pick and choose the person from another tradition that he feels comfortable with. So somebody like me, he would run away. He knew me extremely well. He heard me speak at many venues. He would run away from me because then I present the idea of pluralism. He doesn't want that. He wants some kind of exclusivist movement within Hinduism to be presented as part of the Hindu contribution to the interfaith network. He did this repeatedly. And I kept pushing, but he would not, in a way, allow me to interact. At one particular meeting, I must point this out. It was very interesting. There was a meeting where they said the elderly people from these various different faiths will talk to youngsters from other faiths, just talk and convince them and try and talk about how we relate to each other. And I went with my daughter. She was much younger, by the way. And the 2 chief executives sat down because they knew my daughter comes from the pluralist tradition. They sat down with Sita. This is really true story. And they quizzed her to no extent. They keep quizzing her, kind of pushing her and trying to tell her to give up pluralism. And they tried every trick. They were really winding my poor daughter up. She was about to cry. They were really nasty people, nasty. So they were trying to push her. And finally, their trick they used is, Sir Sita, suppose you decide one of these days that you don't like Vivekananda and want to join another Hindu group. What will your father say? They expected Sita to say, my father said, no, you can't abandon Vivekananda. That means I become exclusivist too. My daughter was up to the mark. She said, if I tell my father I don't like Vivekananda, I want to move on, he will say, go ahead, my daughter. He will say, go ahead. This is pluralism. And they were really, knocked out. But my poor daughter was squeezed, was grilled, for an hour or so. And I was so upset. She told me later on, Dad, they were really grilling me. They won't allow me to get away. They wanted to break me. I said, don't worry, my daughter, I'll take a revenge in my own way. Now, one of the person was a lady. And you see, ladies are very conscious about their well-being and their appearance. So at the next meeting, a dinner meeting, she was sitting next to me. And I'm up to my mark. I said, I won't mention the name. Are you not well? You seem to have put on so much weight. You tell any woman that they have put on weight, it's like thunderbolt. And this lady was very upset. She started looking, where, what happened? Oh, I said, are you not well? Why are you looking so fluffy and big? And I almost made her cry. I told my daughter, look, I've taken revenge in my own way. But this is the world we live in. It's artificial. It doesn't work. A lot of government money was wasted to promote exclusivism, not pluralism, not a single approach, at a single meeting was my idea of pluralism embraced by the other people of other tradition, not in a single meeting. So you see, it was wasted. For me as a Hindu, it was a wasteful trip, just purely tokenistic. So this is the situation with the network, interfaith network. It's almost down now. It's hardly bothered. No, it's hardly doing any work. Because they wasted the money, nothing's happened. We still had homegrown terrorists, as you know, so it didn't work.
Free e-learning course in Hinduism. To register, please visit www.hindu-academy.com.
Talks on Hinduism. Sponsored by People Care. Encouraging caring for the elderly in their own homes. For more information, please visit peoplecare.com.